There are a few universal truths in life. Pizza tastes better with extra cheese. Socks disappear into another dimension via your dryer. And everyone, even your grumpy uncle, loves Tom Hanks. If charm were a GPS location, Hanks would be sitting somewhere between Mr. Rogers' front porch and a box of Forest Gump's chocolates. He's played a guy stranded with a volleyball, a man who ran across America for no reason, and a baseball coach who yelled at children. And somehow, we still want to hug him. No superpowers, no scandals, no TikTok dances, just pure vintage Tom. His story isn't a Hollywood fairy tale. It's more like a blooper reel with heart, hustle, and a suspicious number of Dairy Queen runs. The humble origins of an unlikely star. Before he was Forrest or Sully or Woody, Thomas Jeffrey Hanks was just another kid growing up in Concord, California, which is like Hollywood, except with fewer red carpets and way more traffic. His father worked in the restaurant industry, and after his parents split when Tom was 5, he moved around frequently. This wandering childhood actually gave him a head start on his acting chops. Constantly changing schools meant he had to learn to be quick with words and quicker with charm. It was great training for acting. Hanks once said, "You learn to make friends fast or eat lunch alone." The Hanks household wasn't what some might call traditional. Tom, his brother, and their dad all bunked in the same room at one point, but rather than dwell on hardship, Hanks remembered it as an exciting time. That outlook would define much of his approach to life. Realistic, but always a little upbeat. Early hustles and humbling jobs. Before Hollywood glitzed up his resume, Tom Hanks was just another teenager working odd summer jobs. One of his earliest gigs, hawking peanuts at Oakland A's games, and getting robbed for his efforts. Talk about character building. Later, he worked as a bellman, which might just be the most glamorous job a teenager could land. Wearing a suit and meeting celebrities? Yes, please. He even got to carry bags for Cher and Billie Jean King and delivered luggage to Chrissy Everett while she was mid-shower. Towel and all. Not quite the Oscars, but definitely a memorable gig, from Shakespeare to slasher films. After studying theater in college, Hanks landed a professional acting job in Cleveland. Yes, that's right, not LA, not New York. Cleveland. He joined the Great Lakes Theater Festival, where he earned union wages and learned the ropes of live performance. Between gigs, he relied on unemployment checks. "Thanks, taxpayers," Hanks joked years later. Eventually, the allure of the screen pulled him in. His very first movie, a low-budget slasher film titled He Knows You're Alone. It's about as far from Saving Private Ryan as you can get, but his real break came in the early 80s with the sitcom Bosom Buddies, where he played a man who dresses in drag to get affordable housing. Weird premise? Absolutely. Hilarious execution? Definitely. It only ran for 2 seasons, but it got Hanks noticed and introduced audiences to his knack for playing lovable goofballs, splashing into fame. Then came Splash, cast as a man who falls in love with a mermaid, because why not? Hanks' performance helped turn the film into a surprise box office hit. Director Ron Howard took a chance on him, even telling Hanks after the first read-through to stop doing that thing, referring to some of Hanks', let's say, creative habits. Still, Splash opened the floodgates, pun very much intended, and suddenly Hanks was in demand. The comedy years. Between 1984 and 1987, Hanks starred in 7 films alongside comedic legends like Jackie Gleason, Dan Aykroyd, and John Candy. He was quickly cementing his place in Hollywood as the next Jack Lemmon, a title he thought was way too generous, but took with a grain of salt and a grin. One thing that made Hanks stand out, he didn't try to be the cool guy. He wasn't the smirking action star. He was the average Joe who just so happened to be extraordinarily talented. Big dreams and bigger results. In 1988, Hanks took on a role that, no exaggeration, changed his life. Big, the film where a child wakes up in a grown man's body, was originally offered to Robert De Niro. Can you imagine De Niro playing on a floor piano at FIO Schwartz? We can't either. Hanks not only made the role his own, he earned his first Oscar nomination for it. He portrayed a 12-year-old trapped in an adult's body with so much authenticity, it was both hilarious and heartbreaking. He credited his awkward junior high years for the performance, the hormones, the weirdness. It was all there to draw from rom-com royalty to Meg Ryan chemistry. By the early 1990s, Hanks had become synonymous with the romantic comedy genre, thanks in no small part to his on-screen chemistry with Meg Ryan. The duo starred together in 3 classics: Joe vs. the Volcano, Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail. Audiences fell in love with their chemistry, even though Hanks jokes they weren't exactly best friends off set. "We're not Lucy and Ethel," he quipped, "but every time we see each other, it's like no time has passed." Their films remain top earners in the rom-com genre, grossing over $500 million collectively. Not bad for 2 people who mostly communicated via email and AM radio. Transformation Station. Then came Philadelphia, 1993, where Hanks transformed physically and emotionally into a gay lawyer battling AIDS and workplace discrimination. He dropped over 25 pounds, followed a strict diet, and shaved his head for the role. The result? His first Oscar win, and a moving acceptance speech that honored the many gay men lost to AIDS. And just 1 year later, he did it again. Forest Gump earned him his 2nd consecutive Oscar, making him only the 2nd actor ever to achieve that feat. Life may be like a box of chocolates, but Hanks was clearly eating from the finest selection. Real-life heroes. Hanks has a knack for playing the guy who holds it together when things fall apart. Whether he's piloting a failing spacecraft in Apollo 13, saving soldiers in Saving Private Ryan, or safely landing a plane in Sully, his portrayals of real-life figures are always grounded in humanity. And let's not forget Mr. Rogers. In A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Hanks donned the cardigan and captured Fred Rogers' warmth without veering into parody, because who better than Hanks to play the kindest man in America? Cast Away and Total Commitment. If you needed proof that Tom Hanks commits 110% to a role, look no further than Cast Away. He lost over 50 pounds, let his hair grow wild, and acted opposite a volleyball named Wilson, who, let's face it, probably deserves a SAG award of his own. Hanks admitted it was hard not sneaking a cheeseburger during filming. "It's tough to do drive-thru with the kids while eating like a castaway," he said. But that's the thing about Hanks. He's not above drive-thrus or awkward diet fails. That's why we love him. The legend lives on. With a $400 million fortune and over $10 billion in ticket sales, Tom Hanks could have easily gone full diva. Private jets, diamond-studded bathrobes, maybe even a pet tiger named Spielberg. But nope, he's still that guy holding his own grocery bags and making small talk in the produce aisle. He's won more awards than most people have houseplants, yet still waves like your friendly neighbor mowing the lawn. Even with global fame, he manages to stay grounded, now probably because he's too busy making movies that make us ugly cry into popcorn. Tom Hanks doesn't just play heroes. He lives like one, quietly reminding us that decency is still in style. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the life of Hollywood's most lovable legend, don't forget to smash that like button, like Tom smashed that typewriter in the post. Hit subscribe for more feel-good stories, movie magic, and zero scandal, just like our man Hanks.